and delegate, and ladies and gentlemen, what I'm talking about is our voting system. Our government is based on voting is our governance of everything, right? So we develop a system to keep track of the voting that we collected all over the world. This system is a web-based that everybody can enter anywhere in the world. So, and we collect that result here. So, in our system, we develop into 3 categories. The first is, let me go to the first one is we call a basic. So a basic register of the voters that will include the address, the name, phone number, and an identity, either a driver license or whatever, like other countries might not use the driver license, but at least have one of the identities so that we can do something like, it not be able to duplicate. So that is what we intend to do. That's why we must have one of the form of the government ID. And the second category will involve in financing with the government. So the second one, we will issue either a basic card, identification, or a VIP card, that is a higher credit limit. So the second one, we will ask at least a passport. So because we are dealing with the world, so passports is the only means that everybody must have. Okay. The third category is the more like a career application with the government. So more like a delegate. Everybody has to go through this. So all the information we must have, like working history, and whatever that a resume can be. So that is the third category. And we keep all of that in our record. We even have a face-up Ho Chi Minh picture on it when you sign with our government. So that is a main thing that we're looking for, because a face-up Ho Chi Minh picture, that is the meaning of this government existence. To summarize, then this is a security, how we develop the security to this system, that we ensure that no hacker. Okay, so we embedded the latest hardware and software encryption, and of course we only use secure protocol. We protect from ATE. ATE being advanced invasion technology. So that is the hacker that they're using all over the world. Okay. So we prevent all of that. Even the computer that uses it, when they click on that program, on that app, it automatically protects that computer. So no one can hack it while the person is working on it. That is the GUI that the user at the moment, he click on that, it will protect. To summarize, since we deployed this, because this system we did some training. So a lot of users out there, we are right now under the training program for all the people that enter into the system throughout the world. Only the last 3 months that we deploy, and we get about 25,000 right now that have been entered. But it's going to be increased exponentially in the next few months. As far as we train a lot of users out there that can enter, then you see that rocket high. We will make it a lot easier that anybody can go to our webpage and enter by themselves. That will be the next step that I'm working on. So that once that's released, then it will be a lot easier. Okay, so that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you for your demonstration, Mr. Keaton. It is my honor to introduce our last speaker of the night. Please welcome Mr. Steve Crummy.
Would you like to have the title last speaker of the night? Is a slide up?
Could you turn on the microphone, sir?
How would you like to have the title of last speaker of the night? Is the slide on? Please. So while that's booting up, President Dow and Ambassador Irving, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Steve Crummy. I live in Boston, Massachusetts, which is more liberal than California, if you can believe that. I say that for you, sir. I'm also the chairman of a company called FREEDA that you heard Frank allude to earlier. FREEDA stands for Freedom Global Abundance. That's what it stands for. We have a philanthropic purpose in life, which is to emancipate the 2.5 billion people in the world that have no access to financial services. So that's our mission. Is this slide up? No. Okay, it's coming. So we're partnering with the Third Republic of Vietnam to provide an ecosystem that will address the financial exclusion of most of Vietnam's citizens. I read a recent Ernst & Young report about, they compared every economy in the world. The good thing about Vietnam is 84% of citizens have access to cell phones. That's fantastic. That really is. The bad news is 70% have no access to banking, which is ridiculous. The other bad news is the gross domestic product per capita in Vietnam is $1,365 US. That's awful. Frankly, that's awful. So with our system and with the cooperation of the Third Republic of Vietnam, we're going to help increase the gross domestic product of Vietnam. While we're waiting on the slide,
It's released.
it is, okay, thank you. So the first, I can't see it, but the first slide, there's a picture of President Dow and a crypto coin. Is that the slide we're looking at? Not yet. Okay, thank you. So, just to make this simple, the way we work, we develop a lot of applications. Point of sales terminals, CRM systems, marketplaces, mobile apps. Think of a point of sale system for a small business in Vietnam. It's a very small business. They have the ability now to be in the e-commerce world. They can actually now have a point of sale terminal and they can market their goods over the internet. That was never possible before for most people in Vietnam, I'm sure. And what happens is all these applications that are used throughout the world generate revenues. And these revenues all go back to the people who use the system. All of the revenues go back to the people who use the system. Our company takes a small percentage to cover overhead, but most of it goes to the citizens. So as revenues are being generated, our algorithm slices it to every member of the FRIGA system worldwide. And if you sign up tomorrow, if all of you go back tonight, not tonight, tomorrow you sign up for this, you will see within a week some money that's in your account. You're going to wonder where that came from. It came from because you're part of a global system that's symbiotic in nature where everybody shares in the profits. So the one thing that happens is the citizens of Vietnam will start to see real fiat currency, real money. Fiat currency is real money. And as that money grows, they also will start to see crypto coins with President Dow's picture on it. This is a virtual coin. You've heard a lot about crypto coins. Some are very dangerous. This particular one has an underpinning. The money I just talked about before, that's an underpinning value to the crypto coin, which means the coins are not speculative. They are of real value. So the citizens of Vietnam will wind up with some fiat currency in their digital account. They will wind up with crypto coins in their digital account, and they'll be able to take that to a bank in Vietnam. If they don't have an account, they'll have enough now to open a bank, and they certainly can take it and put it on a debit card with the bank in Vietnam so they can buy coffee and things like that. This system is up and running. It has a few things we still have to fix, but it's almost ready to go. But the way to think about this is we want to bring, as I said before, financial independence. So the more value in an account, we plan to do a technical term API to local banks in Vietnam, so you can now transfer the money from FRIGA into your bank account. Frank said earlier, if you lived in the U.S. or anywhere, and you were on our system, and you wanted to send Vietnamese dong to a relative in Vietnam, you can do that for no charge. If you wanted to exchange currencies, that is go from dong to pounds or dollars, there is a 3% charge. I guess that's just typically what it is for exchange rates. So that's the first point we want to make. It's underlying value of a currency, and it's also cryptocurrency. Now, if we go down the slides a little bit further, you'll see, on the third slide, if you will, sir, you'll see that one of the money makers for us, and therefore the citizens, is, if you think about it for a minute, companies like Amazon and eBay, they can't do business with you unless you have a debit or credit card. We've already said that 70% of the people in Vietnam don't have access to debit or credit cards. So what happens here is we have a marketplace where people can use our system to go to eBay and they go to Amazon and they buy, and we get a percentage of that commission that we can spread across the whole FRIGA network. We think that would be a pretty significant thing for the citizens. As we go to the next slide, all of this has to be done legally and above board. We are regulated by the Financial Control Authority of the United Kingdom. That's where our company is headquartered. The FCA is just like the SEC here in the United States. You have to do it all by the book. No speculation, no money laundering. So when you sign up, it's all you need is your email and your phone number. When you do that, and money starts to appear in your account, you have to go through a simple one-step process called Know Your Customer. It's a legal requirement. And as it builds up more, you have to do an anti-money laundering questionnaire. And I will include a photo. So everything is done by the control of the UK Financial Control Authority. So you cannot take cash and try to wire somewhere around the world. It doesn't work that way because that is something we don't get involved with. It's currency that we do. So the whole legalization of this is above board. It's backed by the Financial Control Authority. And I think it's a thing for you all to know. Because there's a lot of horror stories about crypto coins that you've all read about. You've probably invested in some of them yourself. Be careful. This is one of the few that has an underpinning value to it. And then the last piece of this is, I think it's the next slide, sir. We have a mobile app almost ready. President Gao's picture will be on that mobile app. He will be able to communicate to 84% of the Vietnamese citizens because they have cell phones. I think it's a terrific way.
What the communists can't do.
Shut it off?
Yes.
We're not
They have to
involved.
shut down the whole Wi-Fi of the country. They'd have bigger riots right now, generals, than they do over there already.
I think you're right. I'm not a politician. And then the last piece that on the system that I want want to say something else before I get off stage, is that if you look at the last slide here that I hope is up, you'll see that frida.world is our website. And obviously we're prominent on that website. But if you look at the very next button next to us, if it's up on the slide, it's the Third Republic of Vietnam. So of all the partners we're going to have, and all the vertical markets we're going to have, the Third Republic of Vietnam is the second button on our website. So when people hit that, they go to register. When they hit that, they go to their own site. But it's going to be a lot of free advertising, which I think is going to make it easy for people to sign up. And the key is to get people to sign up with email and with cell phones. So it's late at night. All I'm saying to you is this is a joint effort between us and the Third Republic of Vietnam. The system is almost ready to go. It's not futuristic. It's almost ready to go. There's a few things we have to do, particularly the banks in Vietnam. We got to work with them. If they're state-owned, it may be a problem. We have to use other, but we'll figure that out. And over time, if the GDP of the Vietnamese citizens is $1,365, that has to be raised at least by double digits, by 10 or 15%. It has to be. Yeah, the math. The more people that use the system, the more money flows through the system, the more crypto coins go to the citizens, the more they can put into banking accounts, the more they can open banking accounts they didn't have before. And the cost to Vietnam for this is zero, because we make our money also, as I explained before, when all the traffic is through, we pass it along, we pull a little percentage back for ourselves. So we will enter an agreement, and we'll get this started. But I think it's a terrific way to communicate to the citizens of Vietnam that, look, there's going to be a new president in town, and he's going to do things that are going to make you feel good about your economy, because when 70% can't get to a bank, and when the GDP is $1,365, that's not an economy. People can't survive on that right now. It's ridiculous. So, well, those of you who were in the desert yesterday with me, a lot of you were. It was an interesting day. I've never been out in the desert. But I said something there, and I'm going to end it by saying it here again. So forgive me for those of you who heard it before, but there's a lot of new people in the room. I've been around the block. I'm older, you can tell. I've been in thousands of meetings. I probably have been in tens of thousands of meetings. I've met one-on-one with Steve Jobs. I've met one-on-one with Bill Gates. I'm not bragging. That's not important. What's important is I know a good meeting when I see one, because I've seen tens of thousands of them. So yesterday, it's 90 degrees. There's no air conditioning. There's flies all over the place. There's dust all over my shoes and sport coat. And I looked in the room, and I saw 40 or 50 people. And I said, why are they there? They're passionate. They're dedicated. They're loyal. You just have to be in the room to see it. You can see it here tonight, too. And the answer, after a while, became very clear to me. It's because they're President now. Because they're loyal to him. Because of what he stands for. And I will tell you, if you can take some of that video and something tonight and get it down to 3 or 4 minutes and put it up on the website and let the citizens see it and say, by the way, when President Gao's in charge, this is what Vietnam's going to look like. Vote for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before I introduce the last question of